just can't take no pleasure in killing nothing. Just some things you gotta do. Don't mean you have to like.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
You want to know what happens to an eyeball when it gets punctured? You got any idea how much blood jets out of a guy's neck when his throat's been slit?
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
What up, everyone? DJ Nubis here with you on the Metal Time Radio podcast with my co-host, my ghoul brother from another ghoul mother, Mr. Tony the fucking dead. We are the Ghouls of Midnight, and this is episode 48. Almost to 50. We're almost there. Almost. And he's, of course, muted, so I will talk for him. So this is a great thing.
Almost there. I didn't know that I was.
And we're still rookies.
After 50, we'll get it fine. We'll get it perfect. I will anyway.
All right. So if you're not familiar with this show, he and I, we take turns alternating between movie picks for this program. where we will sit and review a certain program that my choice, of course, this week is Evilspeak 1981. Then we will switch over to his next episode and do his pick, which will be fun to do. I'm telling you now, it's fun to do. But yeah, so Evilspeak is in our plate today. So before we dive in, I kind of like sometimes to go back and just show people like the trailer because not everybody knows this film. It's not the most well-known title. It does star Ron Howard's little brother, Clint. Maybe it's his older brother. Is his older brother, Clint, or is younger? Be younger, I think.
I thought he was younger.
I'm trying to think. Let's see. Yes, it has to be. Yeah, it has to be because Ron was much younger when he did all the Andy Griffith stuff. So definitely. Okay, so younger brother Clint Howard. He's the more oddball, but he's super cool, great actor.
Yeah.
But let's check out the original trailer for 1981's Evilspeak.
Everyone's known a boy like Stanley Coopersmith. Evilspeak. He's the kid everyone used to pick on.
Screwed up for the last time, Cooper Dick.
Evilspeak. You see, everyone felt Stanley was a joke. An outcast with no one to turn to.
You guys broke my catapult. You're gonna pay for that.
No one except man's most advanced machine. Stanley used the power of man to call on the powers of evil.
I, Stanley Coopersmith, command you! Oh my God.
And all hell broke loose.
Imbue these creatures with your strength and force. Let them avenge me.
Evilspeak. Remember that little kid you used to pick on? Well, he's a big boy now.
Well, he's a big boy now.
That last line is great.
Oh man, old trailers are great.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, so obviously Clint Howard plays Stanley Coopersmith, who is like kind of this awkward, nerdy cadet who his parents died when he was a little bit younger. So he's basically an orphan that's kind of thrown into this military academy and obviously gets bullied by some other cadets and stuff. And so he ends up finding his way into trouble all the time, and he usually gets in trouble not because he's trying to find trouble, it just happens to find him. He gets put in the worst possible predicaments that possibly can happen. He's the kind of like guy where someone else starts to fight, but he's the one that ends up getting caught because of something that's happening. But it stars Clint Howard, R.G. Armstrong. Also have Lynn Hancock as Miss Frida Meyer. That's keep that name in mind. Mm-hmm. And I kept saying to myself that Father Esteban looks so fucking familiar, and I kept wondering why until I looked it up. Sure enough, Richard Moll from Night Court is the guy that's playing Father Esteban, and so like really happy. I was like, "Yep, that's him. That's totally him."
Oh, yeah.
Before he became like a big star in there, but I remember first watching this when I was young, and like it terrified me. Like this was spooky shit. And then at the same time, I was angry because I almost got Jedi Granville to be on this. And I said, hey, if you want to join, because he knew about this movie. And he's like, nope, I won't do it. I said, why? He's like, because there's a certain scene I just can't deal with. I'm like, I know exactly what scene you're talking about.
Yeah, I know what he means.
Yep. Uh, and even though it doesn't show it, but it's we'll get to it eventually. But it's a very troubling scene. But it turns around the whole thing about you'll watch a movie and you'll be scared and you're like, this is creepy or whatever. But then you're like, fucking kill those motherfuckers. It turns into one of those things.
100%.
Do you remember when you first saw this film and what you thought about it?
I first saw this when Scream Factory put it out on Blu-ray, and that was when there was like one a month movies or maybe twice a month, and I ended up getting it, just blind buying it, and Shane and I reviewed it, and I remember not liking it. I'm like, I didn't like this. It was boring, blah blah. And I don't think she cared for it either. Rewatching it now, I have a different opinion about it. So, sometimes you have to watch them twice, even though you don't want to. But yeah, it was a couple of years ago, actually, only the first time. So this is the second time I've watched it.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing about the movie because it's a little disjointed. Like even at the end, like I'm kind of like saying to myself, because it tells you what happened to Stanley afterwards.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, because then you get another scene. And this is the other thing that's kind of cool about this is 1981. So apparently the computer they're using is the Apple II. So this is the very early stages of computer and stuff like that. So you're kind of like, wow, this is state of the art,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because there's a point where, like we said, Cooper Smith, he's getting bullied by these four guys that are, one of them's like a big time.
I think his father's a senator.
Yeah, or his mom is a big deal. Like they're contributors to the academy. They give lots of money to it. So he's like this, rich kid, whatever.
Just ass.
Yeah, just assholes, apparently. And played wonderfully by Don Stark, who plays Bubba Caldwell. And in fact, it was kind of cool because I read, which I think is actually kind of brilliant. Stark and Howard, they didn't even talk to each other on set as friends, even though they probably are friends afterward. But in order to keep the character tension there, they didn't bother to get to know each other, which I think is pretty good because it's hard sometimes when you're like, this guy's really a sweet dude, but he's supposed to be this asshole, Yeah. And so it might change the way you convey your acting. So I thought that was a smart idea. Yeah. To stay away from the lead guy as far as the bullies are concerned. So it felt more natural.
Sure did.
Yeah. But also, Cooper Smith, he's part of the soccer team, which they all are. And again, it's like he tries his hardest to play well, but he's not as athletic as some of these other, guys on the team and stuff. Where he gets blamed if he loses the ball or something. And their main goal is to try to get him kicked off the team whatever way possible. But of course, Cooper Smith is still like, he's still being punished for other shit that's happened. Like it may not even be related to the bullies, but he's always in a doghouse with the colonel and everybody else that runs the show.
Yeah.
So he gets tasked with cleaning out this cellar of the chapel. Like, he's supposed to clean it up and straighten it up down there. And of course, Armstrong, who's been notorious for different horror films and a great actor, is like, called him Sarge. He's like this drunken old military guy that just kind of hangs around down there. And I don't know if he was supposed to be like a maintenance guy or something, but he just doesn't do a whole lot except for drink.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad job.
No.
But yeah, so Cooper gets tasked to clean this place up down there and eventually comes across this hidden room. And in this hidden room, of course, we discover that this is used to be like I don't know if they would just call it like a den or something, but Father Esteban at the beginning of the film, we have this quick clip from the past where Esteban is in a cloak and he's got the sword and he's got his followers, and then we got these Christian people coming down to tell him that he's banished and he's going to be done away with. He's not allowed to be I guess he was religious at one point, but turned to the dark arts. So that kind of sets up our whole thing where we find the den to where a modern day where Cooper Smith is finding like this book Satanist book or whatever, and the candles and this, all this other stuff. So he basically realizes that as he's reading the book that he's going to use the computer in his class to kind of decipher it, which, again, early signs of taking scripture from something and then having it translated for you on the computer, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
How did you feel about like the whole setup for the movie?
Oh, good setup. I mean, you feel bad for him right away. Nobody likes a bully. And he's there, because of the parents dying, and they're like, you're supposed to like have like a big brain and everything. That's why you're here. And basically, like they have to play him in the game because everybody's like, he can't play on the game, and they're like, you have to play them 2 rounds or whatever however they say it, 2 whatever innings. And that's not innings, but you know what I mean. They have to play with that, so he gets picked on with that, and I find it hard to believe that place was that hidden with that long. I mean, that guy must have just been that drunk,
Yeah, right.
Because didn't he kind of like just go behind a painting and like he crawled a little bit? Here it is. It's like, what the hell? But the whole thing with the beginning with the Bull, I'll call him Bull. No, I'm not gonna call him Bull because I can't ever remember his actual name. What is it?
Which one?
Oh, Richard Moll. That's the one.
Yeah, Richard Moll. Yeah,
real name.
Father about.
Yeah, he. That was kind of scary in the beginning too, because they like have that girl and they're gonna sacrifice her, and then like the other priests come down, and then the modern priests, they even have his picture up there, and which makes no sense because he has like a satanic Bible in the picture, but he's like he got accused of dark arts back in the day. It's like, yeah, look at the painting, idiot. But
it's like you say, you're in a chapel. Why the fuck would that even be there? It makes no sense. Unless
it was like God punishing him or something. But like, yeah, it was a very, very good setup for the movie, though. It's kind of weird watching now with like modern technology, and all I think is like, man, all that stuff you have to lug around to do that. Like the TV or no TV, the monitor was like, it wasn't even solid. It was like a tower almost. You could see through it.
Oh,
and then you had that long the thing on the top that the ribbon in the back. I don't even know any of that stuff. I never had a computer like that old.
Yeah, it's almost like the pins for like a printer, like the old school printers, and the connections for like, I guess in some way you would have to have like some sort of internet connection. I don't know, because it was in the infancy of all that kind of stuff. So the internet really didn't take off till like towards the 90s. So I don't know if that was because he did have to get power. I remember he had to kind of go around by where Sarge's room was to plug it into the light bulb to get power to the machines. But I'm not sure what that, unless it was part of a hard drive that he had to have. I don't know. Either way, I used to have shit like that, so I know what it is. But it was very interesting because as he's cleaning this stuff up, he's really getting into this satanic Bible, and he's kind of going through it and deciphering it. So he's reading about it. So then he starts, he understands that like if he can conjure the power from this thing, he can kind of get vengeance back on his bullies and stuff. And the thing is, everything from like the soccer coach to even the priest himself, they're assholes to this guy. This kid taking abuse from everybody.
Yeah.
We even get the moment where the older soldier guy, the admiral, whatever, he's like spanking with that old wooden pallet.
Unbelievable.
And then of course, Friedmeier, the secretary, she's like kind of grinning, and I guess she turns her on to hear the kids cry or something that they're getting her ass kicked.
Yeah, she's just as bad in her own way too. She don't say much, but she's an asshole.
Yeah, but she's hot. She is hot. So she got that going for her.
Weird nips though.
Yeah.
Weird.
So yeah, Cooper Smith, he just ends up getting like a lot of the crap jobs. Like even when he's not cleaning the cellar, he's got to go clean out the pigsty because they're like close to a farm or something. So he's helping out with the livestock and stuff like that. So he's cleaning where the pigs are, and then there's that cool moment where his Bible drops into the trash next to Friedemeyer in her office.
Yeah.
So she picks it up and she's kind of toying with the little symbol on the cover, the pendant, and trying to get it off. And for some reason, it connects with the pigs. Like the pigs are almost like boars when they're going crazy and trying to eat him or whatever. Like they're very voracious. They'll eat anything. That's basically what the impression we get.
Yeah.
So we have that scene. Now there is a really cool scene that I kind of forgotten that I really like. Is I don't have a picture of him here, but played by Lenny Montana, who plays Jake, the chef. Very cool dude.
Oh yeah.
He looks after Cooper Smith a little bit when Cooper Smith is late for dinner because they only have set times when they can eat. So the kid's trying to like get some food. He's like basically scraping for the scraps, and the guy's like, "I'll make you a burger, man. Just hold up our steak or whatever it was."
Yeah.
Sits him down in the back. They're chit chatting, and Cooper Smith, you can tell he appreciates the kindness that this guy's showing him and everything.
Yeah.
And that which leads us again to a scene later where the chef has like a dog that gave birth to puppies. And at this stage, there's one that's a runt of the litter. And so Cooper Smith's like, "Oh, well, this one's not really being taken care of. You mind if I take it?"
Yeah.
And now the thing is, you can't keep them in the dorms because, you be against rules and regulations. So takes the puppy down to the den, has a little spot for it. Now, how that dog behaved and stayed there the entire time without running around, pooping all over the place, I don't know. But
he's a good boy. He's a good boy.
Very, very good dog. Yes, very good dog. Let's see here. So, yeah, again, we get more, just more bullying from the guys always fucking with Cooper Smith. And really, it comes to a point where I thought was really funny, though, because, again, we talked about how shitty the adults are in this. And I don't know if you caught it this time around like I did, but like they're having this beauty contest with the girls. And these keep in mind, these girls are supposed to be like 16 and 17 years old, even though they look much older.
I know what you're going to say.
And you can just see the priest and the other older gentleman like, "Hey, see that? Look at that ass." That's what they're saying.
Well, the one guy even said, he goes, nice. He goes like,
yeah.
It's like,
And
that was the
coach is
16-year-old
like checking them out, like he's announcing it. He's like checking the girls out. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, don't make it so obvious. We expect the young boys to go crazy, but the older ones acting like pervs is just ridiculous. But I guess that's the way that the director kind of wanted to set it up, because they really wanted you to dislike a lot of these people that were just abusing Cooper Smith all the time and stuff like that. So I mean, even Sarge, who you would think that despite being kind of just a grumpy old drunk, there is that moment where he's actually the first one to get killed because of his threat on the dog. Like when he finally discovers the dog down there, he's like acting like he's going to break its neck. And you're like, dude, what the fuck you doing, dude?
Yeah, like, I don't understand. Because he took a crowbar?
Yeah, because it's like, dude, he's working down there. Of course he's going to borrow a crowbar if he has to get in somewhere or, tear something down.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought at first Cooper Smith, because it needed blood, I thought, don't kill the dog, because I couldn't remember what happened. And then he did that with the neck. And I'm like, oh, my God. I hope this person gets it bad. I hope they get killed bad. That was a pretty cool moment, though, when...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're going to break the dog's neck? Oh, I don't think so.
And that's the other thing, too, because, like, I'd kind of forgotten, even though they're not explicit about it, but I started picking up on it. And this movie really digs deep into depravity. And I don't mean through Cooper Smith. I mean it through everyone else around him. Because kind of reading up on a review of this, after I watched it, to see what other people are thinking. And it's like, the moment Sarge is like threatening the dog is when, of course, Cooper kicks him in the balls or in the leg or something to like get him to let the dog go.
Yeah.
And getting ready to kind of tussle, even though Cooper couldn't beat Sarge. Sarge is a much bigger man, but there is implication that when Sarge gets him in a chokehold, he's like, well, I'm going to show you who's boss now. And I'm thinking, he's going to fuck this dude. He's going to fuck this kid. Like, this is going to be rape. Yeah. And so, and then they say in the review, like, you know, when Sarge ends up getting his neck twisted through paranormal experience with the Satanism that's working for Cooper Smith, that Sarge is getting raped. And I'm like, well, I don't remember him getting raped, but you did see his ass after that. I mean, not plain, but after his neck goes, he's got looking backwards on his own ass. So, you know,
there was a moment too earlier in the movie. I don't know. It was very subtle, where he was drinking with Bubba in the cot, and then the Sarge turns the light off, and Bubba turns it back on. And I thought, what was going to happen there? What did Sarge have planned?
Yeah,
because there was a little moment there of like, oh my god, I think he's a pedo.
Maybe, and maybe they had something even further back, because they end up running into each other again.
Yep.
So obviously there's gonna be spoilers here, and I hate to do it to people, but you know, there comes a point where is it the post ceremony? I can't remember. I think it is. It was after the contest, and so Cooper Smith comes up to one of the girls and says, "You know, I thought you should have won. I thought you were really good." And I think she was actually kind of just, you know, flattered that he's like, "You know, you really mean that?" And he's like, "Yeah, I thought you were really good."
Yeah.
So I don't think he was really trying to hit on her per se, just trying to say that he thought she should have won. And of course, Bubba and them come over, and then it just starts into a shit show, and the girls aren't going to do anything because they'd just rather go with the fly boys anyway.
Yeah.
So they end up de-pantsing Cooper Smith, and then he gets caught by the Admiral again with no pants when everyone else is gone.
Yeah.
So now again, he's pretty much kicked off the team, which is what they wanted anyway in the end game. But then it leads us to where Bubba and the girls are drinking, and the other guys, and they come down. They kind of knew that Cooper Smith had a dog down there. They just didn't know where. But that wasn't really what they were kind of searching for. But they get down there, and then they hear the dog, and they find a little room. Now, keep in mind, Cooper Smith's hidden Sarge's body somewhere. We don't even see it at this point.
Yeah. There's like another room with all these skeletons. So I imagine he probably
just kind of dumped them in there.
Them over there.
But yeah, Bubba and them, they find all the, you know, the Bible and the seance shit and the candles, and they see the computer with her. Like basically, Cooper Smith gave everything that needed to be given. Like, so like whether it's wine or the little cracker thing that they represent the body of Christ, like just certain things. But the blood and the consecration is what was needed, and that was something that was kind of throwing Cooper Smith off. He didn't know how he was going to do that, because he's not going to kill his own dog.
No.
So, but guess who wants to do that? Bubba. He's like, this just need blood. And of course the girls are like, no, that's not cool, man. And, you know, they end up leaving, but the guys there chanting, you know, kill, kill, kill.
Yeah.
And of course we see like the quick moment where the dog's like, you know, but we don't see the impact, which thank God.
Yeah.
You get the impression, especially afterwards.
Oh yeah, you just see him go like that. And it's like, you fucking asshole. Like, I don't know. I think he was trying to be like showing off at first, and then he just. I'm not trying to say what he did was right or anything. It's not, but I think he got peer pressured by them. But I also think maybe he would have did it anyway. I don't know, because it's a 50-50 there, or maybe they were like all of a sudden enchanted.
He's somebody who needs admiration from the other guys, but it's like also he hates Cooper Smith. He just hates him, hates him. So, and I think anything that would give Cooper Smith joy, he enjoys taking away. Like that's just how he wants to be. So, and in some ways, you know, one thing I thought about is like, you know, these guys are in a military academy, so eventually they're going to be going to war. And it's like a guy like Bubba, he probably is a sociopath. He probably wants to kill people. Like that's probably what's in his DNA. He's just not a very good kid at all.
No.
So eventually Cooper Smith comes back down. Everyone's already gone, but he sees the blood on the table, and then right in the little space that he had the dog, you can see blood on the wood. And he puts his hand in there and he knows that his dog's on there. It's a real sad moment because he's holding the puppy. It's gone.
Yeah.
He's just really angry and kind of lost and despondent. And then, of course, we have this other guy. I'm not sure. He's definitely another like military guy, just not sure what his position is, but he might be the other priest. I don't know. I know there's one, and then I don't know what this guy did. But anyway, he comes in, he finds him, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he sees the room, and this is when we realize that Cooper Smith has like strength, like he's got some of the power that the Esteban has given him.
Yeah.
And so he goes up to him and just tosses him in the air to the like it's like a little thing up top, might be like a lamp or something, but it had like spikes on it.
Yeah.
So it catches him, and then he's got the blood, and then he starts drinking, and then all of a sudden we get this big ass moment, and I'll play some of the clips a little while we talk, but basically, you know, he's taking the blood, and he's starting to get the power now. You see the computer do a little pentagram, and it's like dancing around and shit. And what did you think about at this point, like everything that's happening?
Oh man, I mean, it's a slow burn in the beginning. Like a lot of stuff is going on, which I think that's probably why I didn't like it at first. Like I was like, it's like
Well, it's
so
pretty,
much till
yeah, it's
something
pretty
happens.
torturous in terms of like there's a lot more bullying that goes on than probably necessary. Like I think sometimes they just pushed it a little bit too much. But that's probably because they were trying to fill out the movie. So I think that was the whole point, was to get to the end and get the crescendo, basically. You know.
Yeah, they have to make you be on his side, even if he's conjuring up a demon, you know. But you got to make, because he's being picked on. It's like, yeah, I see why he's doing this. The other guys, I mean, they killed a dog. That was just, it doesn't matter what, they can't redeem themselves in my eyes. Like, you're done now.
Right.
So yeah, it up to that point is like, now the shit's gonna hit the fucking fan. But you one thing that we didn't say, that was the
Friedemeyer.
Yeah, Friedemeyer. I don't remember what was happening before that. She was
I
like,
think it actually was probably a precursor. Well, no, because remember, she still owns the Bible at this point. She still has it with her.
yeah.
And I think what the Satanic Bible was telling her basically is, this doesn't belong to you.
Yeah.
So when she took it home, somehow the pigs managed to get there. They all came in, and after she was in the shower, and they just bum rushed her and started eating on her and killing her in there, which is a great, great scene. Actually, it's actually really, really great. And then, of course, the Satanic Bible disappears from her desk and reappears down in the den. So that's pretty much, I think that's why it ended up working out the way it did with her. Like, if she did not have possession of it, nothing would have happened to her, I don't think.
Yeah. Maybe if she didn't try stealing the jewels off of it, it would have been fine.
Yeah. She wasn't worthy.
Just had the book.
You're right.
Greedy bitch.
Right. So yeah, we saw a little bit of clip there. After one guy's killed on the top of the roof thing, he gets the power, and he has his sword now. The sword is fucking pretty badass. And at this point, all the cadets are in the chapel above them, and they're basically getting their like latest speech from the priest. And he's talking about the goals in life, you know, not just with sports. And so everyone's in there. And of course, now you're locked in with the bad dude. So one of the cool moments too, of course, is the statue of Christ up there behind the priest, and one of the nails that are in the hand starts coming out with like blood on it, and everyone's like looking. The priest is looking, hits that motherfucker right in the forehead.
Yeah,
kills him. And I'm like, that's great.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Me too. I was like, nailed by the Holy One, necrophobic.
I like too how you like the first thing you see is the veins on the arm, like pulsating. And I was like, ooh, that's creepy.
Good effect too. Really good.
Effect. Yeah, real good.
And then shortly after, the bottom between the pews starts opening up, like it's almost like hell, basically. And this is where Cooper Smith starts rising. He's got this power now. He can float. He's got a sword, and his hair is all crazy. Like that. This is typical of Clint Howard, man. Like, you know, for a guy that was younger than Ron, I think he started kind of losing his hair earlier, but his hair was already thin. But dude, they did him crazy look perfectly. Like,
even and like so with his hair in the Wraith, like it's just nobody else could really pull that off except him.
And that was like what, 89 or 88 when they, or maybe 86. I can't remember when that
Something
came
like
out.
That.
But
it was definitely after this.
He plays the mad scientist very well.
Yeah.
So he starts coming up out of the floor, and like one of the first things he does is I think there's two guys. I think the first one was the admiral, the older admiral, the real dickhead. Mm-hmm. And he takes the sword and just like cuts a right split down to there. And that was great. I was like, yes. Ooh, gooey, gooey, gooey. And then, of course, from the floor comes all the pigs again. They all rush out, and they're basically an instrument of the devil now. And they start chawing on some of the cadets and whatnot. Now, I can't remember. Maybe I lost attention here a little bit, but there was one cadet, black guy, that was always on his side, Kowalski. Was he in there at the time this happened? And did he die?
I didn't notice. There's so much going on in there. I don't know.
I would have assumed yes, and that to me is sort of the problematic things about stuff like this. Like even with movies like Carrie, where she starts flipping out, even innocent people that would normally be on your side get caught in the horror, basically. And so I can only assume he didn't make it. But anyway,
I don't think anybody made it. It was like the massacre.
Yeah. So. Yeah, because they all assumed that. Well, actually, Cooper Smith made it, but they said he went to an asylum or something. And so, but I'll get to that in a minute. So the pigs start kind of chewing away at some of the cadets, and of course, Bubba, he's able to get back downstairs somehow towards where the den is and where Sarge and all of them are.
Yeah.
And as he's trying to get away, and he's like melting down because he realized he's fucked up big time. By pissing off Satan himself. he bumps right into our boy Sarge, who's up and about, going walkabout.
Yeah.
And you get this nice scene where Sarge like plummets his hand into his chest and rips out his heart.
Yeah, he cut him on him.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the funnier part is upstairs, Cooper Smith is confronting the coach now. And so what he does is he, does the whole karate chop and takes off the head. Now, I read a little bit of trivia on this. Initially, when Clint was trying to do this scene, he couldn't quite get the power to like cut the thing through. So like it would just kind of, he'd hit it and then just kind of fall off. So what he said he did was he went and got like a sledgehammer for a couple of days and was swinging that around to get used to the heaviness. So that when he picked up the sword, it didn't feel as heavy, and then he can put more power to it. So finally, he was able to cut the head off cleanly to make it look legit. So I thought that was kind of funny that he said, "Okay, I'm not quite ready for this sword. Let me go Conan up a little bit, and I'll be back."
I didn't know that. That's neat.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
I'd like to see Clint Howard like in the corner, just swinging around a sledgehammer.
Yeah, right. That'd be so awesome. But so eventually everyone is toast. Like this whole place burns down, except for the den. I would assume that's still fine because this is all like really heavy duty concrete and stuff like that underneath. So it's probably why it existed for so long before even Cooper Smith found it. So but they do make a report at the end with a little narration, not narration, but just a writing that says, it was a massacre. No one survived except for Cooper Smith, who was distraught and shocked and had to go to a mental asylum where he spent the rest of the days. Now, my problem here with this is you saw it kind of in the little clip there. The very last scene is the computer flicking on down in the den, and it shows Cooper Smith's face instead of Esteban's. And so it shows Cooper Smith when this says, "I will return." So the part that I'm sitting there saying to myself is, Well, if he's still alive, then why is he showing up on the screen unless he just has that power that he can make himself appear, which is possible. But it confused me a little bit because I'm thinking, well, he's still alive. If he died, I'd kind of understand more if his like soul was in that computer or something. But
right, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that I don't know why that's like that. I mean, yeah, it doesn't make sense. I guess
I mean,
you
it's
just gotta
cool.
think of it as like he'll come back. He's alive.
Yeah.
He'll come back. But
it was kind of funny that when they did say I would return, it's like, well, were they planning on a sequel? What were they going to do?
it seemed like
it?
It seemed like they did, but I guess it must not have done very good.
Well, the funny thing is, according to this, it says the budget was $1 million. Now, I've read that it maxed out at 400K, but it was only shown in 2 theaters, one in LA and one in New York. Really? So that's pretty good for just 2 theaters.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
So why you have to wonder yourself, like, why did they not release it more? Like, you know, if you're trying to get your budget back, I don't know if it probably just got bad reviews because I can guarantee Cisco and Ebert probably hated this film.
Was this back in like the Satanic Panic era?
Early on, yeah.
Yeah, maybe
I mean,
that's
before then,
reason.
but sure.
Maybe they got a lot of shit.
You might as well have had like Cisco and Ebert, man. They had a lot of influence on movies back then. Like they hated The Thing, like Carpenter. They bashed on that too.
Wow.
So like, and that's how they usually were with a lot of horror films. Like it's very rare that they would give any kind of horror film like good marks. Like they were just so pretentious all the time. So it used to drive me bonkers. Like I watched him like you would watch Howard Stern back then. Like you just wanted to see what he'd say next. So like for me, if I hated Ebert, I'd be like, "Go ahead, Dick, say something so I can yell at my TV at you." You know, just so I can like push back on him any way I could. But all right, Ghoul ratings. Where would you end up with this film?
Well, like I said, I've seen it before and I didn't like it before, and this time I have a totally different opinion on it. I did enjoy it this time. If you can, I mean, the movie itself is fine. It's a slow burn, like I said, but it's a good buildup. It's you have to get there, and then that ending, the big payoff, is so worth it. That whole ending scene, I had a grin on the whole time. I just think Bubba should have got it worse. I don't think Sarge should have did it. I think Cooper Smith obviously should have done something to him. The fact when the pigs were coming through and then like grabbing their shoulder, and the one guy, one of the 4 friends that like he's trying to come through the I don't know what it was, like a thing, and they're pulling him back in. That's scary as shit because it's like this guy's getting eaten alive and I don't feel bad for him. You know, like. But the one that I was like happy that they showed, like he was like torn apart, was the bigger dude. He was such a prick. They were all pricks. They all had their own little thing to them. But the satisfaction at the end that they all got taken out and like, you know, man, I think I'd probably have to give this movie about a 7. Well, back a couple years ago, I probably would have gave it like a 3. You know, but yeah, man, I liked it. I don't know if I don't think they should remake this. I definitely don't think they can nowadays.
I like the grittiness of it. Like I think it's perfect the way it is. I mean, it has its issues, but it's try to remake and polish it up just wouldn't work the way that you would think it would. It just looks better the way, like the darkness, the shadows, just the way that they were portraying the bullies. Like these days, they try to like water it down, and so this is more brutal. The way they did this is the way that I remember some people bullied people back then. Like it was just downright nasty. Like they didn't hold back.
You know, I have a theory before we go any further.
Sure.
I didn't think of this before until last night I was watching this. I think that the guy that cooked him the steak and that was all nice to him getting the puppy. I think he was supposed to be God. And I think seeing how they're treating him and he's going down this path, he kind of was trying to get him on the better side, but it didn't work. But that guy, he looks he looked like he was going to be an asshole. I honestly thought, you want to see something?
I can guarantee he's probably in the Mafia, like different movies. I'm sure I've seen him before.
Oh, it probably is. But like, I'm thinking, wow, this guy I think is supposed to represent God or something like that. Like he's in there, he's cooking the food. He was like too nice because every adult was an asshole and he was nice. Was he his mom?
He was Luca Brasi, an enforcer for The Godfather.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he definitely looks like
1972. Yeah.
He even had the white hair. Like, God supposedly has white hair. I think that's my theory. I don't know if anybody else ever said that, but
it's actually a pretty good approach, because is the moment too when Kowalski is trying to find Cooper Smith because he knows that the bullies were fucking with him again. So he goes and talks to the cook and says, "Hey, have you seen Cooper Smith?" And so the cook's just like, "Well, no, but is he okay?" He's asking about him and stuff. So it's a good approach.
Yep.
That's why I'm so glad they didn't bother to kill him. Like, I'm like, don't go too crazy. Like, he's not worth killing him for, because that dude's about the only guy that ever showed him any kindness whatsoever.
Yeah.
In the film. So
very true.
But yeah, this is a guilty pleasure for me. It's one of the earliest films I saw, and I remember checking out, somebody had put up like their top 25 horror films of 1981. I just forgot how many great films came out that year. This would definitely make my top 25 of the year, but it's far from perfect. I'm close to you. I'm an 8 out of 10 with this one, but it's a guilty pleasure of mine. So I was happy to do it with you and talk about it a little bit, because it is a good film. Yeah. It's just crazy all over the place, though.
Yeah. But I'm glad I rewatched it, though. When that's why you said Evilspeak, I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah,
I didn't like this movie.
Like, I want to see this. But on our next episode, we'll be diving into a film that I had never seen, actually. So
it's my first time watching it too.
Really?
Yeah.
And I was really surprised. It's Lucio Fulci's film. So House of Clocks. Yeah. And I didn't know what the fuck to expect out of this, but you'll find out when we do our next episode with Mr. Tony the Dead.
That's right.
So
if you want to see that, you got to head over to my channel.
Yeah. Got to do it. He'll have it up in 3 days, but he'll have it up.
Hey.
But I'll give him this, man. I envy this man over here, because he knows how to edit very well. I like all the little things he does and the bells and whistles. So me, I'm more boring, but I pick the better movies. Just kidding.
You do usually pick the better ones.
I don't know if I do or not. We have a lot of like bummers too. So
true.
Killer Goats didn't quite get there. Yeah.
No, it did not.
Right. All right. But please go and like and subscribe to Mr. Tony the Dead. Like and subscribe to the Metal Tavern Radio podcast if you enjoy this stuff. And please let us know what you think about Evilspeak 1981. If you have not checked it out yet, I think it is on YouTube. I think Tony did find it there, so you can watch it for free.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you for the support. See you next time. Take care.